Merry Meets, everyone. Today I'm going to be doing a share on my new Celtic Tree Oracle cards. My husband and I had our 22nd anniversary this last week, and this was the present that he bought me. We don't always, exchange gifts, but he came across this and knew that I would love it. So before I get into that, I do want to apologize that I have been very sick with a cold, and my voice is going because the more that I talk, the worse it gets, and I apologize if I have any coughing fits or if I breathe heavy, because I just cannot catch my breath. But I do want to go ahead and do this because I have missed the last couple videos, and I wanted to go ahead and share. I do want to say right off the bat that this is a wonderful oracle card set. Not only does you have the oracle card aspect, but it teaches you the OM alphabet, which is the Celtic Tree alphabet. So it's called the Celtic Tree Oracle. It's by Sherilyn Hidalgo and illustrated by Jimmy Manton. And that's the cover. Beautiful. So it comes with a large book. It's a very detailed book. And this has inspired me to, really look into the Celtic, tradition of OM and the alphabet and everything, and, look more into Druidry and all of that. I've always been, drawn to the Celtic pantheon because that's where my ancestry comes from. Even before I knew that that's where my ancestry come from, because I only found that out a year ago, and I just knew before then that that's where, my history is. And I've always been drawn to it, but I haven't really gotten into the aspect of the magical part of, the Celtic life and Druidry and all of that. So this has inspired me to really, dive into that. But it has that beautiful tree on the front with the Celtic knots, and it starts off talking a little bit about, kind of the history, and then it goes into the alphabet itself. So with the Celtic Tree alphabet, every letter refers to a tree. And then this is the OM alphabet. I know lots of people pronounce it differently. I am going off what the pronunciation in the book is, and it says OM, although it's spelled OGHAM. But I found it really interesting because I've seen these before, because my husband and I are huge history buffs, and we watch documentaries and stuff all the time, especially about stuff in Britain, and I have seen these and never knew what they were. So it was very, enlightening to be able to realize, okay, this is what I'm seeing, and it's actually writing that's on these stones in Ireland. So I'm very interested in learning on how to write in OM, and it has, different so it has its basic alphabet, and it has different sections here that it talks about, and then it gets into, kind of like a rune chart, but this is, basically like a cheat sheet of what each one means. So like the birch means beginnings, sort of like, if you found like a cheat sheet of, the runes the Norse ruins, you can find like a little cheat sheet like this. So that's nice to have. It's kind of a quick glance thing. And then it goes into your birth trees, depending on what hemisphere you lived in. So it tells you your birth
You
tree.
can look up
when you were born and what tree is your birth tree. And they are very detailed in the writing of each tree. And then it goes into some spreads, which this one I've never seen before, so it's very interesting. It talks about, it's a 4-card spread, so it talks about the root of the tree, the trunk of the tree, the branches and leaves, and the flowering and the fruit. So it's a different spread that you can do with the cards. And of course it has your traditional Celtic cross. And then it gets into the trees themselves. Very detailed, like I said. It goes into, you know, what birth tree it is, you know, the dates that, you know, in northern and the southern hemispheres, what dates that pertains to. It talks about totems for this tree, deities, the letter, the class, the lunation that it's in, so the moon cycle, and then if there's any holidays that are celebrated on this particular tree that it's referred to. Everything's connected, which, you know, I never understood that about when we talk about the Wheel of the Year. I never understood that they were connected to the Celts, and that they were connected to the alphabet as well, so the Celtic alphabet. So it goes into the keywords and then a little bit more information, and then it gets into the meaning of pulling the card, and then the reverse. And I don't normally do reverses in tarot, because I feel that tarot is well balanced and you don't really need to do the reverses. But with this, I find that having the reversed is very accurate for when you're pulling cards. And then it goes into like a message, and this is a very, the message itself is a very sweet little paragraph, you know, talking about depending on the tree, you know, what it is. And I've read this entire book from front to back, and every message, you know, kind of leaves you with an uplifted feeling, and I really like that. So, and then it just goes through each one, you know, all the way to the end. Okay, so I've readjusted my lighting. Hopefully this will help with the glare. The cards themselves are a very nice quality. I don't know anything about cardstock, so I can't give you like what type of paper it is or anything. It's a high gloss paper. It is fairly thick. Not as thick as like the Fairy Tarot. Those cards are very thick, but especially not as thick as the Spirit Animal Oracle. But a good size. It'll take a while for these to get bent up. They're decent, you know, hand size, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. They're easily shuffled, but like I said, they are high gloss, so I'm going to try and show you these without the glare. So I'm not going to go through the meaning of every one of them, because I don't think my voice is going to last that long. But if you'd like a more in-depth video on that, I can do that when I'm feeling better. But the first one is birch. That's number 1. And if you can tell, it has the letter of the alphabet on it as well. And it also has the, I want to say, the Celtic word for it, which was probably Gaelic. But it's nice that it has the letter of the alphabet. Each one is kind of framed in this really lovely Celtic knot like picture frame. So I think they're just really beautiful. Oh, and this is what the back looks like. So your traditional Celtic knot. And it's green. So really nice. So number 1 is birch. Number 2 is rowan. And as I said, every one of these refer to a tree or plant, but majority of them are trees. Some of them are bushes. Very colorful, very beautiful. And that is the letter for rowan. Number 3 is alder. Willow, which is my birth card. I have this very faint memory of a willow tree that I used to play under as a child. I don't remember where it was at because my family moved around constantly all the time, but in one of the places that we lived when I was a very young child, there was a willow tree that had its branches, came down in this like umbrella where you couldn't even see the tree trunk. But it's very weird that I have a distinct memory of that. I have no idea where it was at. I can't remember the house that we lived in or anything like that, but I can remember this tree. And so it's very weird that that's my birth tree. So the next one is ash, which is 5. And I don't know if you noticed, but with every one that it goes up, for the letter, you get more slashes on the, it's kind of like a bar, and then, depending on, the letter, it'll have, a certain number of slashes for it, and then they change direction the further in the alphabet you get, sort of like this one, which is hawthorn. It's number 6, so the direction of the slash changes to the other side, to the left side. I love this one, which is oak. Isn't that a beautiful picture? Number 8 is holly. My oldest daughter's middle name is Holly. Number 9 is hazel. Number 10 is apple. Number 11 is vine. Number 12 is ivy. Number 13 is reed, so like cattails and any other type of reeds. Number 14 is blackthorn. Number 15 is elder. Number 16 is silver fir or pine. So I think it's referring to any type of pine tree. Number 17 is gorse. And I didn't even know what this was. I've never heard of it. So apparently it's some sort of bush. Number 18 is mistletoe. That's a gorgeous picture. Number 19 is white poplar, white poplar or aspen. Number 20 is yew. 21 is grove. Grove has a particular meaning, kind of all the trees as a whole, if I remember right. Number 22 is spindle. I've never heard of this tree, so it would be curious to look it up. Number 23 is honeysuckle. I have a very vivid memory of honeysuckle as a child, too. Number 24 is beach. And then the last card is 25, and it's more, the sea. So more would be the Celtic word meaning the sea. But that's another beautiful card. So my impressions of these, I've done several readings with them so far, and they are highly accurate for me. This is the only deck that I have ever opened up out of the package and instantly connected with. I have one other deck that is, you know, pretty close. It's the running second, but this is the only one that I have ever had that is just completely accurate and, you know, right out of the box. I didn't have to work with it. I didn't have to do anything. It just was, you know, completely accurate. So I highly recommend this deck. I cannot tell you how much it costs because it was a gift from my husband, but it's worth the money, whatever it is. The back of the box, I know I've seen it somewhere. Maybe it was on the packaging, but it was like $21 and some odd cents. I believe he got it off Amazon, but I'm pretty sure you could find it anywhere. Like I said, if you're into the Celtic tradition, then you will love this deck. And even if you're not, it's a great learning tool, especially if you're into like runic letters, like the Norse runic letters. You will like this too. And each tree has, you know, a great depth of meaning, and it's really encouraged me to, you know, dive more into my ancestry and all of that. When I do things that have to do with deity or anything like that, it's always a Celtic, you know, deity or anything like that. I've always been drawn to the Celtic path, so this is just an extra addition and maybe a little nudge from my spirit guides to kind of look into this more, and that's where my path needs to go. I definitely going to be diving into it more, but for now I really like this set. I don't know, I just felt an instant connection, and it's been bringing up things from my childhood that I never remembered before, before I, you know, started reading into this and all of that, which is strange because most of my childhood is blocked out because it just simply wasn't a very good childhood, so I have, you know, didn't want to remember it, so I blocked out most of it. And so it's strange that it's bringing out little aspects of things that I never remembered before. So, like I said, I highly recommend it. If you have, you know, the extra money, definitely, you know, grab it. Even if you aren't interested in the Celtic path, it does have a lot of meaning to it, and you know, I think you would get a lot of use out of it, even if it's just for the oracle aspect, because each of the meanings for the oracle, they're just really in depth, and it's not a harsh way about it either. I have a real hard time with oracle and tarot that goes about things really harshly. I have a few decks, like the original Rider-Waite. I cannot connect to it at all, just simply because I can't. When I look at the cards, everything comes out very harshly and negative, and I'm not quite sure why, whether it's just the representation because it's so old and I can't relate to it or what, but I don't feel that with this deck. I feel at ease, and you know, that even though it may have a meaning that, you know, it's something I need to work on, or, you know, something that's warning you about, I don't feel that dread like I do with this deck. Which, you know, this is the standard, the original deck. You know, the imagery in this is, you know, kind of old worldly, and I just really don't, I can't relate to it. But this, I just instantly connected with, which is, you know, kind of weird, because normally you have to work with a deck for a little while before you can, you know, have it be real accurate. I have one other deck that I have connected with it, you know, pretty quickly with, and that's the Everyday Witch Tarot. But this one was like instantaneous, so definitely recommend it if you are in the search for a oracle, a new oracle deck, or you want to get into the Celtic tradition itself. This is kind of the basis. It talks about the Celtic trees and the alphabet, and it kind of gives you that introductory insight to, you know, the Celtic path. And then you can go, you know, on from there. So, like I said, I just wanted to share it with you. I'm sorry I haven't had a video in the last couple weeks. Life has just been kind of crazy, and then I got sick, and as you can tell, the more I talk, the worse my voice gets, and the only reason I'm not having a coughing fit right now is because I had a cough drop. So hopefully it'll be better by next week, and I hope it didn't irritate anybody too much. But I did want to go ahead and share this with you, because I did want to go ahead and have some sort of content, and I was really excited to be able to share this with you guys. So I will see you next time. Blessed be.